John 13, verse 1, before the Passover celebration. So it's still not quite Passover, but we're right there. We're right at that important time of Passover, which has so much meaning and significance from the history of Israel, and not just from their history, but Jesus is about to give it all new meaning. It says Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world. He loved his disciples during his earthly ministry, and now he loved them to the very end. And so what he does is he sits down for this Last Supper, and he does this incredible thing where he washes their feet. And washing their feet was something that was reserved for the lowest of servants. And so Jesus was humbling himself and shocking his disciples when he did this. Look at what it says in verse 12. After washing their feet, he put on his robe again, and he sat down, and he said, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet." And so sort of one of his last meal with these guys, some of his last opportunities to teach them, although in these next several chapters, he's going to continue to teach them more very important lessons, as we'll see. But he wants to make sure that he gives them this lesson. You should be servants. This is how my kingdom is run, Jesus is saying. The greatest people aren't going to be served by people underneath them. If you really are great, you're going to serve other people because no one's greater than Jesus. And here Jesus is serving a bunch of fishermen and washing their feet. So it goes on, he predicts that he's going to be betrayed by Judas. So we see some interaction with his disciples. Also a little bit later, he predicts that Peter's going to deny him. And then he says this in verse 34, a really powerful thing. We're going to see more of this in the chapters ahead. He says, "So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." And I think that's interesting that he's saying the way other people will know that you're my disciples. He doesn't say they're going to know by your miracles or they're going to know by your great teaching, all the things that Jesus was known for. He says that your love for one another will prove that you're my disciples. That's how people are going to know that you are mine. You know, again, one of the questions, who is Jesus? Well, Jesus is God. And who is God? Well, God is love. And so Jesus is revealing in this chapter and in the chapters ahead, he's revealing how central that idea is, that he is love. And we're going to see that as we read on in John. But for now, read John chapter 13.